Hello, hello. It is Friday. It's happy hour. Hello, welcome to Miss Happy Mess Happy Hour. I'm Kim. I'm with producer Jill. Hi, Jill.
Hey, happy hour.
Be happy hour, and guess what I have?
Drink.
A drink.
Yes, me too, finally.
Yay.
Delicious, ready to go. It's been a long week.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Taking a sip.
Yes. About
We did it. We made it to the end of the week and we're having a drink.
time.
You're not even, but we're not in the room together again.
No, I'm in San Francisco this time.
That's okay. I'm still in my closet.
I know.
I think it's turning out that your life might be more interesting than mine since you're always traveling and I'm always in my closet.
I know. We're going to get you out of that closet, Kim, one of these days.
I'm gonna bust out.
Yeah.
It's nice, natural light, whatever.
Yeah. Good audio.
We hope.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, it's been another week, and this time I actually love the title of the episode. It was "Stop Shitting All Over Yourself," because that's what Dr. Mary, the therapist, said. I guess I don't call her doctor, but that's what DBT therapist Mary Tobin had said. Stop shitting all over yourself, and I love that.
I love that too. She is so good. She breaks through all the clutter when it comes to communicating.
She really does. I mean, she really boiled things down for me in the episode where I was honestly in real time figuring stuff out. I I was amazed at how much revelation I was having in the moment as we were filming. It was no joke. She really simplified things and made it easier for us to actually hear each other and understand what was going on for one another. That was my experience.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I could see when your jaw dropped. I wasn't used to identifying when your jaw was locked, but I could definitely see when it dropped. I guess when you get mad or just don't want to say anything, you lock it. But
I know
yeah,
this lockjaw thing. Oh my gosh. I'm curious, am I the only one who locks their jaw? Am I the only one who doesn't fold their panties? Am I the only one out there doing these things?
I don't know.
Who does lockjaw? I'm just curious. Tell me, are you in solidarity with me out there, people? Hello.
It's kind of original, but you know what I loved? I love the fact that you said you do it because you didn't want to get angry and be loud when you were angry. So it's almost your way of slowing yourself down to regulate yourself before you engage with a situation that has you frustrated, you know? So it's
Yeah.
probably hilarious and annoying to anybody living with you, but there's a good reason behind it.
Yeah, it's true. No, it really is true. It is my way of tapping out without physically leaving. And I will say, over years when conflict became a bit much in my house, I learned to say, okay, I'm going to actually go for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
I need to separate myself. So I think the lockjaw is the first phase of trying to get space. And then once I'm able to have an actual thought in a moment, I will remove myself from the situation just to get some clarity. I'm not talking about with my kids necessarily, but with other conflicts in my house. It's interesting, right? How we all kind of deal
Exactly. It's
with stress and conflict.
Totally. And there's something nice about the fact that you're acknowledging that you're stressed, you're acknowledging that you're frustrated, but you're also creating a situation where people can recognize it without feeling scared or nervous or threatened or like they're not going to be heard, and where they can kind of giggle and laugh, and then you all can talk about it later from a much better place, you know?
Yeah.
So I love that.
I mean, I know I'm very biased, but I have to shout out Mana because, man, she was so honest. She was so available. And again, I'm biased. I'm her mom. I get that. But she was really showing up for the episode. Do you know what I mean? In terms of just authenticity and curiosity. And I could feel like she and I were honestly connecting on the episode. You know what I mean? And I'm in awe of that child all the time.
I'm in awe too. And, I'm a little bit biased as well because I feel like your kids are, my nieces or my kids too on some level.
100%.
But, it was a really big thing that I remember we talked about, that we wanted to make sure that she was comfortable with being on the episode. So we talked to her about that clearly. And so did Mary, to make sure that she felt okay with showing up and talking about her stuff. And she did. And it was brilliant to be able to see the way she could give these really specific examples of, agreements versus disagreements with you. And even the idea, I can remember when it came up, the whole thing about like, well, do you guys have an agreement about when you're leaving for school or what the plan is? And she was like, yeah, well, it's nonverbal. Not only was that hilarious, but it was honest. And it reminded me of 90% of the agreements that I have with my family. You know, it was brilliant.
100%. It was, but then also it was so great because then she was so honest about like, it's nonverbal and I don't actually know what you're doing in the morning, Mom.
Yeah.
And it was just really helpful. I mean, honestly, no joke at all. That episode has made our mornings so much easier because we actually, I think, see each other in the morning a lot more. And our kind of bumpiness has gone down so much because of that episode.
I think that is the amazing thing for me. Like, even when I was sitting in the room when we were shooting, it was interesting to think that you both had really good intentions. Like, she wanted to get up in time for school. She wanted to do the things you told her she needed to do to get ready to go and then be ready. And then you were trying to help her and do the things you need to do around the house. But to realize that basically, if we're being honest, she had no clue what you do in the morning. And you had no clue about when she wanted to get to school and why. And to be able to see that come out and for you guys to hear each other, both of you had this look in your eyes like, oh, I didn't realize we love each other and we try to communicate and talk all the time. But I think that as humans, we often don't know how to ask the right questions. And I think that is what we were being shown in this episode, like how to ask the right questions about what people are thinking and what they're feeling and what they need.
Yeah, that's really well put because you don't know what you don't know. And
Yeah.
so I think I have a hard time asking questions to things I don't even know I'm supposed to be asking questions for. You know what I mean?
know, totally.
Like, I'm like, it never occurred to me that she wanted to be at school early for something else. Like, I didn't even know that was a question that was on the table.
Yeah, totally.
And also, there was something that Mary said that like parents feel like they do so much for their kids.
Yeah.
And then when they feel disrespected, they're so upset because they're like, I've done so much for you. How can you not see that? Right. And
Mhm.
that is also so true from a parent's point of view because they don't know how much we're necessarily doing for them because we're their parents.
Totally.
You know, like there is a little bit of an invisible responsibility that's going on just by nature of being a parent. And it is interesting for her to be able to see me in a more complex way. Because when she
Yeah.
first described what I was doing, she was just like, I don't know, you wake up and put on clothes. Like I'm in a box and I am
Yeah.
waiting to service her until it's time and then I come out of the box and do the
Exactly.
thing and then go back in the box.
Yeah,
Do you know
it's
what I
like
mean?
grown-ups wake us up and drive us to school. It's like, no, actually they do a lot more, you know?
Right.
And I think
Right.
it was also like I also always love like I loved hearing what Mary said about, you know, the whole dialectic idea of like two things can be true at once. So the example in the show was about the roller coaster ride. You can be excited for it and you can be totally nervous. But it was also like even if you think about like with the home and going to school situation, it's like you can want to, you know, be on the same page and cooperate and get to school on time. And you can have these other things that are also priorities that maybe nobody knows about, that maybe we talk about. So I don't know. It just helped open my eyes to a lot.
We had a comment on social media. One listener had said they had been to couples therapy. The therapist had actually kind of said it wasn't a great time. They weren't in a great space, right? And then it was a hard session. And the comment just made me appreciate Mary.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, therapists are humans too, so I understand that. But I've definitely been to therapists that did not work out for me. Oh my God, I'm going to tell you this story, which is hilarious. This was a while ago. And I had no health insurance and I was like dead broke, but I needed to see somebody. I really needed to talk to somebody. And I was going through a lot. And so I got turned on to this clinic that was a sliding scale because it was people who were trying to finish their hours to get their full certifications or whatever. And so I was paired up with this woman who was very sweet and she was trying to finish her hours, right? So I'm seeing her for like $11 or whatever. But as I go every week and I'm telling her what's going on with me, she gets more and more invested. And in our last session, I'm telling her how like this funeral went with my grandmother and she is bawling in our session.
Wow.
She was like, "This is awful, and I'm so sorry, and how could this happen?" And I was comforting her
Yeah, you were like, "Who's the therapist here?"
about my life,
You
and
were
I
like,
was
"I
like,
think you need to pay me $11 an hour
I know
too."
what I was thinking. I'm like, "Who's getting the $11 here?" So it's a gift to have someone like Mary come on the show and speak to us and get her knowledge and stuff like that, because seriously, all therapists are not created equally, as our listener pointed out.
No, totally. And I think it's always a matter of finding the one that you can relate to, which is, you know, the real goal and challenge. It's somebody who hears you, somebody who makes sense to you. And she really did come through. I'm
Yeah.
curious also, tone has been, I'm just going to say it, been blowing up a little bit on, the socials because it's funny. We all have tone sometimes. And the funniest thing to me is when I have tone, I always pretend I don't. Okay. That's my little
Yeah.
deep, dark secret. But what was it like for you seeing Mana kind of like imitate sometimes your tone or represent her own tone? And then you were super cool because you even said, I think she gets it from me.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, I would be in absolute denial if I could not accept that the tone, my tone. I'm so sassy and I try not to be sassy, but then I just am sassy. And then lately too, when I'm talking to other people, like one of the girls will be like, "Mom, you sound really rude." And I'm like, "I do? I sound rude? I'm not even trying to be rude. I am really upset and I'm trying to be nice." And they're like, "Well, it just sounds rude."
Exactly.
So, but as it feels as a woman, there's a certain allowance that I'm not allowed to be completely angry. So it ends up sounding very passive aggressive, but I think that's me struggling with trying to be in touch with how freaking angry I am and
Yes.
also trying to show up in a societally acceptable way as a woman. And that ends up sounding passive aggressive and bitchy
I think that's a
because I am
totally
that.
great insight. Exactly. Because you're trying not to come across in that like negative stereotypical way that people are projecting onto you, which means you're actually hiding your real feelings. Instead of just
Yeah.
saying, I'm really mad right now, we end up, you know, saying things like you said in this super passive aggressive way, pretending we don't sound passive aggressive. Anybody listening knows we do. And when they call us on it, we get even madder.
Exactly, because you know what? I started off mad. So don't call me out as being passive
Exactly.
aggressive because I was already pissed
Right.
off and I was trying to hide it.
Right. And by the way, if
So
I'm pissed off and trying to hide it and you tell me I'm pissed off, then you're wrong and I'm not wrong.
exactly.
I'm
Let
just
the passive
madder.
aggressivity roll on longer and longer until
Exactly. And watch out, passive aggressive is going to start becoming aggressive soon, verbally.
exactly. And then all of a sudden the passive is gone and it's just down to aggressive.
I know. The thing I hate
Um,
the most is when you're doing that and somebody says, why do you sound so aggressive? And they're like, ugh, I'm failing. I'm failing at the game I'm trying to play of not sounding mad.
you know what's so funny is when somebody says, "Ugh, you sound so passive aggressive." I'm like, really? Because I'm just aggressive, aggressive.
No, exactly.
But it is tough. And I think the part about naming your feelings, naming your vulnerabilities, I think that's actually really helpful because, like you said, I'm trying to hide being angry and then it comes out. That's a tone issue. I
Exactly.
think tone mostly comes out when I'm not being honest about my feelings and when my kids are not being honest about their feelings. And I think that's when tone really comes out.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
we're hurt, we're offended, we're something else, and we're trying to show up and be like, "Oh no, it's fine.
we're
I'm so
insecure,
happy you're
honestly.
here."
We're insecure about our ability to show our feelings in that moment. So we dance around them and do something different that is a little bit dishonest, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought it was cool because when Mary talked about tone too, she was kind of saying that. She was like, I forget what the example was. Mona said something and you guys were talking about it. But it was basically, I think it was about like, oh, how do I look today? Or how's my hair? Your hair's like whatever the comment was.
Mhm.
Mary basically said the tone you project, it's basically your inner voice talking to you. Like that's the way you think of yourself. It's not actually even about the other person. I thought that was pretty deep.
I had to listen to that part a couple times over after the episode came out because she's like, "Do you guys judge yourselves?" And me
Yes.
and Mona were like, "Yes, we totally judge ourselves." And she's like, "Well, that is the dialogue. When you hear somebody else saying, 'I like your dress,'
Yeah.
And you're like, why do you say it like that? It was me maybe saying, I don't like the dress. I'm uncomfortable with the dress. Do I look okay? And now I'm thinking you're saying I look ugly.
Right. And they're not saying that, but that's what you're hearing. So were you surprised? You
Yeah.
said you listened to it a couple of times. Let's slow this down for a second. Why did you listen to it a couple of times? And did you learn something new? Or did you feel like you were learning something new about that interaction?
Yeah, I had to listen to it a couple of times to realize that she was saying, it's my inner voice
Hmm.
who might be corrupting the way someone else is talking to me, right?
That's deep.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And I was like, oh, so tone, it could be tone out of the person's mouth, but it also could be my judgment affecting the compliment to turn it into something that doesn't even exist.
Hmm.
And I do see that. I mean, I do see that, and I've seen it for myself and I've seen it for other people. I think I've definitely corrupted a message that was meant to be nice or easy or whatever. And then I also feel like I've given compliments, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, and I'm like, oh shit. No, I was just trying to be nice, you know? It's not that deep. I take it back.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes, it's funny. It reminds me of when I was in seventh grade or maybe eighth grade. Anytime somebody would give me a compliment, I would not believe they were actually giving me a compliment. And so either I would just kind of be like, yeah, whatever, or deny it, or just kind of blow them off. And finally, at the end of eighth grade, somebody said, Jill, you need to just learn to take a compliment. And it was my inner voice clearly that was making me believe that whatever they were saying couldn't be true. But that leads to like you giving off vibes to other people that you don't believe what they're saying. Maybe you're not giving them a chance to actually tell you what they really think and feel, which may be a really nice thing,
Yeah. And why is it so hard to take a compliment? I just had this conversation with a hula sister of mine last weekend because
Kim dances
we
hula. We'll go into that later. But okay, where were you?
but I was giving her a compliment and she was just like, "What are you trying to say?" And I was like, "I'm trying to say something nice." And then I was like, and I kind of gave her the talk like when I was younger, somebody told me that too. Just like you said, Joe, like just take the compliment. And even if you don't believe it, just start by saying thank you.
Yeah.
And then shut up for the rest of it. You
Right.
know what I
Just like
mean?
absorb it. Like rub that compliment in like lotion and enjoy it.
And yeah, and even if you're like, I can't rub it in, like it doesn't feel natural, just say thank you,
Yeah.
and that's it. And just start there, like
Yeah.
at step one. And then so I'm giving her this lecture, right? And
Hmm.
she's like, okay, okay. And then like 10 minutes later, she gives me a compliment and I do the exact same thing. I deny it, I joke it off, I'm like super self-effacing. And she's like, girl, I thought you learned how to take a
That is so
compliment.
funny. Well, it's always easier to give advice than to live advice.
Exactly. But what is this thing with us? I love giving compliments. Why can't I take I mean, it's just crazy.
I mean, I think that's part of it too, is, I also used to see my sister in high school. I would just see her give people compliments and she didn't want anything back. She was just being honest. If they looked great that day, she told them. And I could literally see how happy it made people feel because they knew she was just telling them the truth about what she thought.
Yeah.
I do think that part of the practice is giving them, and then part of the practice is learning how to receive them.
I love giving compliments and I love helping because it really makes me feel good. And I mean, I'm talking about honest compliments, right? Like I'm not
Yeah.
just going
Yeah,
out there and
not
just saying
bullshit,
stuff.
not ass
No, no,
kissing,
no.
not brown nosing,
No.
obviously.
But
Yeah.
like I get joy when I see something to say something in a non-threatening governmental way. Like
Yeah.
when I when I see something good, I wanna point it out and be like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, I love this," or whatever, right? And I also love helping. Like, if I can honestly help someone that I love, then I wanna do it. But it is weird because I have a hard time taking compliments, which is the opposite way of it, right? And I have a hard time asking for help.
Well, which
And
is so ironic. Yeah, because I also just think we talk a lot about, being a happy mess. Well, part of joy is giving and receiving compliments or help or whatever it is. It makes us happier. It makes us feel more connected. We need to be able to do that shit.
I'm just having this epiphany right now.
Mhm.
Wouldn't I, as somebody who enjoys giving compliments and helping, shouldn't I understand that when somebody then gives me a compliment and wants to help me, they are getting joy from it? So aren't I taking something away from them by not being able to receive those things?
I think that is a beautiful insight, because it's like you're literally creating resistance to their offering by not receiving it.
And not allowing their joy.
Yeah.
Like, and it's coming from a nice place.
Yeah.
What is wrong with me? Good Lord.
You're hilarious. At the same time, sometimes we can be skeptical. Walking down the street, some rando gives you a compliment. Maybe you look great and you should take it. Maybe if it feels slightly transactional, then you can just ignore them and keep walking. That's a possibility too.
I'm not. This scenario is not for the people yelling at you down the street.
Exactly. We're not talking about
like
cat calls, people. Exactly.
No, we're not talking about cat calls. I was thinking about more people we knew.
Yeah.
Now that we've drank in an episode, I am feeling a little faded, and it's 20 minutes.
Oh my God, you're hilarious.
So now I have to take a nap because apparently drinking and podcasting is not easy.
I know. Exactly. It's like, okay, well, how much drinking is too much drinking on a podcast? That's the question. We'll discuss next week.
I think 3/4 of a can is what I'm turning in, is my answer.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Okay, tell us what's on next week.
Well, we're excited. Next week, we've got Asia Jackson, actress, model, content creator, and it girl.
Yeah.
Around fashion and representation. And Kim has an amazing conversation with her all about not only what it was like to grow up on social media, but the pressure of adulting. And what is adulting, Kim? Do we even know? Are we adults yet?
No, I don't think so. As I sit in my closet, kind of drunk on a podcast, I'm not feeling that much like an adult right now.
I'm not going to lie. There were moments where I felt like Asia was the adult, and then there were moments where it went back and forth, and then Kim had something to offer, and then Asia was teaching Kim something. It was awesome.
100%. Asia is smart. This is a brilliant woman. She's so collected. I'm in awe of her. And I definitely was a student at points in that podcast, for sure. In that interview, she was like putting down some straight knowledge. I really enjoyed talking to her. So we'll bring that out next week.
Hope everybody has a great weekend. Can't wait to share the next episode with you.
Oh, I want to thank everybody so much for listening. I know we've said it before, but it really does make a huge, huge impact on us to hear your comments and your thoughts. Thank you so much for being a happy mess with us. We'll talk to you all soon. Remember, embrace the chaos, but remember to breathe. Bye, everybody.